Don't you guys just love fall? I know I do. One of the best things about fall is all of the pumpkins. But you know what's not so great about fall? A rotten pumpkin. Today, we're going to play a game where you have to try to identify a rotten pumpkin from a good pumpkin. The rules are simple. I'll give you the name of a Bible character, then I'll show you 3 pumpkins with facts about that Bible character. 2 of these facts will be true, but 1 will not be. That's the rotten pumpkin. All you have to do is hold up the number of fingers for the pumpkin you think is rotten. 1, 2, or 3. Easy enough, right? All right, let's go. Our first Bible character is King David. Now, which of these is not true about King David? 1. David killed a giant. 2. David was Israel's first king. 3. David was a shepherd. Remember, hold up 1, 2, or 3 fingers based on which pumpkin you think is not telling the truth. Okay, time's up. Who is holding up 2 fingers? You're correct. King David was Israel's second king. Good job. Let's try another. Our next Bible character is Samson. Now, which of these is not true about Samson? 1. Samson was very weak. 2. Samson had long hair. 3. Samson killed a lion. Okay, time to get those fingers up. Which pumpkin do you think is not telling the truth? Time's up. Who's holding up 2 fingers? You should be holding up 1 because Samson was very strong. Let's do another one. Rahab is our next Bible character. Now, which of these is not true about Rahab? 1. Rahab was from Jericho. 2. Rahab helped the Israelite spies. 3. Rahab hung a bird cage from her window. All right, it's time to decide. Which pumpkin do you think is not telling the truth? Time's up. Who is holding up 3 fingers? You are correct. Rahab actually tied a scarlet rope in her window. Let's try another. Peter is our next Bible character. Now, which of these is not true about Peter? 1. Peter walked on water. 2. Peter lied about knowing Jesus. 3. Peter was a tax collector. So what do you think? Which of these pumpkins is not telling the truth? Time's up. Who is holding up 3 fingers? You're correct. Peter was actually a fisherman. Good job! Jonah is our next Bible character. Now, which of these is not true about Jonah? 1. Jonah was swallowed by a fish. 2. Jonah spent 5 days in a fish's belly. 3. Jonah went to Nineveh. So what do you think? Which of these pumpkins is not telling the truth? That's it! Time is up. Who's holding up 2 fingers? You are correct. Jonah was actually in the fish's belly for 3 days. That's still a long time. Eve is our next Bible character. Now, which of these is not true about Eve? 1. Eve was Adam's daughter. 2. Eve was the first woman to ever live. 3. Eve was Abel's mother. So what do you think? Which of these pumpkins is not telling the truth? Time's up! Who is holding up 3 fingers? You should be holding up only 1. Eve was actually Adam's wife. Esther is our next Bible character. Now, which of these is not true about Esther? 1. Esther was a queen. 2. Esther was a Jew. 3. Esther was married to Haman. So what do you think? Which of these pumpkins is not telling the truth? Time's up. Who is holding up 3 fingers? You are correct. Esther was actually married to King Xerxes. Let's try one last question. Noah is our final Bible character. Now, which of these is not true about Noah? 1. Noah built an ark. 2. Noah painted a rainbow on the ark. 3. Noah had 3 sons. Which of these pumpkins is not telling the truth? Time's up! Who's holding up 2 fingers? You are correct. God actually put a rainbow in the sky when Noah came out of the ark. Great job, everyone!
When you pack shoebox gifts with Operation Christmas Child, you're sending joy and blessing children all over the world. Through your simple act of kindness, children experience the love of Jesus, are discipled through the local church, and are empowered to reach their families and communities with the good news of Jesus Christ.
To send joy to children all over the world, visit SamaritansPurse.org/OCC.
God of heaven and earth, you are amazing. You hold me up with your hand, you give me faith, and I will put my hope in you alone, in you alone. God of heaven and earth, you are amazing. You hold me up with your hand, you give me faith, and I will put my hope in you alone, in you alone.
I will put my hope in you, Lord. You alone are everything I need. My hope is in you alone, in you alone. I will put my hope in you, Lord. You alone are everything I need. My hope is in you alone, in you alone.
Heaven and earth, you are amazing. You hold me up with your hand, you give me faith, and I will put my hope in you alone, in you alone. Heaven and earth, you are amazing. You hold me up with your hand, you give me faith, and I will put my hope in you alone, in you alone. God of heaven and earth, you are amazing. You hold me up with your hand, you give me faith, and I will put my hope in you alone, in you alone. God of heaven and earth, you are amazing. You hold me up with your hand, you give me faith, and I will put my hope in you alone, in you alone.
You take all the pieces of my life, put them back together, make it all alright. Oh, you forgive me. Only you can heal my broken heart, make all things new with a brand new start. Oh, you forgive me. You forgive me. I try so hard to do things right. but I make the wrong choice sometimes. And you forgive me. No one knows me, God, like you. You see who I am, not what I do. And you forgive me. You take all the pieces of my life, put them back together, make it all alright. Oh, you forgive me. Only you can heal my broken heart, make all things new with a brand new start. Oh, you forgive me. I try so hard to do things right, but I make the wrong choice sometimes. And you forgive me. No one knows me, God, like you. You see who I am, not what I do. And you forgive me. You take all the pieces of my life, put them back together, make it all alright. Oh, you forgive me. Only you can heal my broken heart, make all things new with a brand new start. Oh, you forgive me. You take all the pieces of my life, put them back together, make it all alright. Oh, you forgive me. Only you can heal my broken heart, make all things new with a brand new start. Oh, you forgive me. You forgive me. You forgive me.
Oh, hey. Hello, planet Earth! It's me, Graham, professional astronaut, broadcasting live from outer space. You know, not a lot of people thought I would make it all the way to Saturn, but you know what? They were right. It's just a costume. I'm still on Earth.
I love to dress up and pretend to be other people. Don't you? I mean, I love to dress up in costumes and wear scary makeup or funny masks. It's out of this world. because I'm an astronaut. Oh, but today we're talking about what it's like to live our lives without masks, without costumes. What it's like to live with integrity. Now, integrity is choosing to be truthful in whatever you say and do. It's harder than it sounds to live with integrity. There's so many reasons to pretend to be someone you're not. I mean, you may want people to think you're funny. You may want your teachers to think that you're smart. E equals MC squared. The capital of Mongolia is Ulaanbaatar. A woodchuck can chuck 32 cords of wood. And you probably want your friends to think that you're cool. Cool kids still dress like this, right? See what I mean? It isn't always easy to just be true to who you are. In today's story, we'll learn about some guys who were under a lot of pressure to be like everybody else. We'll find out if they were able to stay true to who God made them to be.
I'll be back in a minute.
Instead of a minute, it's a moonit. Because I'm in space. Maybe I should dress up as the clown again.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story. Inspired by the book of Daniel. Chapter 1.
Daniel was only a very young man when King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon conquered the land of Judah. Nebuchadnezzar made sure that God's people wouldn't rebel by taking Daniel and other young men from royal families in Judah and marching them back to Babylon with him.
Will we ever see our home again?
Daniel's friends were just as scared and confused as he was.
Where will we live? What will he do to us? I sure hope the food is decent.
Daniel tried to reassure them as the imposing city gates rose ahead.
God will be with us, whatever happens.
The king chose the brightest and best young men from Judah and ordered that they receive special training.
After 3 years, you will get to be very important and serve me.
The chief official Ashpenaz took charge of Daniel and his friends.
Tut tut. Those wishy-washy Hebrew names just won't do. You need new ones.
New what?
Names. Let's see. Daniel, we'll call you Belteshazzar. And you three will be Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Are those names, or is he just sneezing?
You'll learn our language, of course. And all the Babylonian writings?
Daniel's heart sank as he realized what was happening. The king wanted Daniel and his friends to forget they were God's people. He wanted them to become Babylonians. But Abednego was worried about something else.
Hey, I'm about to starve. Any way we can get a bite to eat?
Right this way.
Ashpenaz led Daniel and his friends to a big table set with mouth-watering foods.
Steak.
Or those Babylonian buffalo bites.
The cake's got at least 9 layers.
Only the best, straight from the king's table.
Oh, the food smelled delicious. But Daniel pulled his friends aside.
Guys, if this food is from the king's table, that means it's been offered to false gods first.
Uh-oh, not good.
Our new names and training are one thing, but if we eat this food, it's like we're saying we're okay with false gods.
But we gotta eat something, man.
We can ask for different food, simple stuff that hasn't been offered to the false gods.
But that chocolate cake!
Abednego!
Okay.
Daniel and his friends turned back to Ashpenaz. They tried to ignore the delicious smells wafting from the table.
This all looks great, but could we eat something that's not from the king's table? It doesn't need to be anything fancy.
The king is my master. He's decided what you must eat and drink. What if you don't eat this and he sees you looking worse than the other young men? He might kill me.
No matter what Daniel said, Ashpenaz was too fearful to listen, so Daniel approached the guard assigned to take care of them.
Please, just test us for 10 days. Give us nothing but vegetables to eat and water to drink. See how we look then.
Well, if Brussels sprouts are your thing.
For 10 days, the guards gave Daniel and his friends nothing to eat but veggies and water.
I could get into the habit of cabbage.
I like broccoli, probably. Pass the peas, if you please. I just want a hamburger.
Let me tell you, it wasn't easy to say no to all those delicious foods the other young men got to eat. But at the end of 10 days, the guard called everybody out.
Line them up.
He strode past the other young men.
Good. I can see you've been eating well.
When the guard reached Daniel and his friends, he stopped in surprise.
What? You've been eating rabbit food, but you look even better fed than the others.
Daniel smiled. God had helped them grow strong even without eating the food offered to false gods.
Okay, fine. You can keep eating veggies and water.
Rats?
Thank you.
God continued to give Daniel and his friends knowledge and understanding as they studied, and at the end of their training, they were brought before the king.
Let's see what you know. How many inches in a meter?
39.3701.
What do you call a group of porcupines? A prickle. If it takes 8 men 10 hours to build a wall, how long would it take 4 men?
No time at all, because the wall's already built.
How are you all so smart?
The one true God gives us wisdom.
Well, we'll see about that. Anyhow, you're 10 times smarter than my other advisors. You get to be very important and serve me.
Daniel and his friends eventually became the king's most trusted advisors, and even though they served the king of Babylon, they never stopped standing strong for the one true God in everything they said and did.
Okay, so Daniel and his friends were in a really bad situation. They were taken from their homes and they were forced to be some king's servant. But even then, they chose to be true to themselves. They chose to live the way God wanted them to live. You see that kind of integrity a lot in the Bible. I mean, think of Jesus. He was always true to himself. Jesus could have gone along with the crowd, but instead he lived the way he knew was true, even when it meant giving up his life for you and me. So how can we be true with our lives? Well, it's great if you want people to think that you're fun or funny, but not if it means, say, hurting someone's feelings to get a laugh. I have no idea how to make balloon animals. And being cool is cool, you know? But if you have to pretend to be something that you're not so people think that you're cool, that's not cool. Cool? What's another word for cool? So here's the one thing to remember today. Be truthful with your whole life. You can choose to be who God made you to be. I mean, to be honest and true in what you say and in what you do. Like I said before, it isn't always easy, so ask God for help. That's one small step for you and one giant leap for integrity.
Goodbye.